For most of human history, the greatest killer wasn't war, it wasn't famine, it wasn't even other humans. It was something we invited into our homes, bred by hand, and depended on to survive. This was the deadliest pet in human history. Today, we unmask the animal responsible for diseases that emptied continents, toppled empires, and quietly killed more humans than every war in history combined. And the strangest part? We're still living with the consequences right now. About 10,000 years ago, humans made a decision that would define our species. We stopped chasing animals and started keeping them. Domestication gave us food on demand, labor we didn't have to hunt for, and wealth we could count in living bodies. It's one of the greatest turning points in human history, but it came with a hidden cost. When you live in the same hut as your animals, breathe the same air, drink from the same water, you're not just sharing space. You're sharing microbes, pathogens that spent millions of years evolving inside animal bodies, suddenly had a new host available. Us. Scientists call this zoonosis, disease jumping from animal to human. A wolf can kill one person. A zoonotic disease can kill a city. Silent, invisible, and far more efficient than any predator that ever existed. You might guess dogs, given rabies, or pigs, given influenza. Both fair guesses, but neither is the real culprit. The deadliest animal in human history needed three things working together: mass domestication across many cultures, extremely close daily contact with humans, and a biology capable of brewing multiple catastrophic diseases at once. That animal is the cow. Bos taurus. Cattle. Cattle were domesticated over 10,000 years ago across the Fertile Crescent and into South Asia. And unlike wild game, cattle lived beside us, in barns attached to homes, in shared shelters during winter, in constant contact with our food, our water, our children. It was the perfect bridge for disease. From that bridge came three of the deadliest diseases in human history, and each one still shapes the world today. The first is smallpox. Genetic evidence points to cowpox, a mild cattle disease as its likely ancestor. Once it adapted to humans, it became one of the most lethal viruses ever recorded, killing roughly 3 out of every 10 people it infected and permanently scarring or blinding many who survived. Smallpox became the deadliest weapon Europe never intended to build. When European ships reached the Americas, they carried more than steel and gunpowder. They carried centuries of cattle-borne immunity that indigenous populations had never been exposed to. In some regions, smallpox alone wiped out up to 90% of the population. Before a single battle was fought, entire civilizations collapsed under a virus, not an army. The second disease is measles. Evidence suggests it split off from rinderpest, a cattle plague that could wipe out entire herds within days. Once it crossed into humans, measles became one of history's most efficient child killers, a disease so contagious that a single case could infect a dozen others before anyone knew they were sick. For most of history, measles was simply accepted as a childhood rite of passage, deadly but unavoidable. It's estimated to have killed over 200 million people across the last 150 years alone before vaccination finally broke its grip in the 20th century. The third is tuberculosis, once known as the White Plague, a slow, wasting disease that could take years to kill. Genetic studies now trace a significant share of human TB strains directly to bovine tuberculosis passed through raw milk and shared air in cramped, cattle-adjacent housing. For centuries, drinking milk was a quiet gamble. Add them together, and cattle-linked disease may be responsible for more human deaths across history than every war of the last 1,000 years combined. Not through violence, through proximity. And it didn't just kill, it selected. Populations that survived generation after generation of exposure developed partial immunity. Populations that hadn't were left catastrophically vulnerable. This single biological fact quietly decided which civilizations expanded, which collapsed, and which were erased almost entirely from the historical record. Today, vaccines and modern medicine have tamed most of what cattle once unleashed. Smallpox has been eradicated. Measles is preventable. Bovine TB is tightly monitored. But the pattern that created them hasn't disappeared. It's simply moved. Every time humans push further into wild habitats or pack animals into denser and denser farms, we recreate the exact conditions that built these plagues in the first place. The story of the deadliest pet in human history isn't really about cattle. It's about proximity, about what happens when convenience and close contact quietly outpace our understanding of the risk. Cattle just happen to be first. So what other everyday relationship, one we've never thought twice about, might already be setting up the next one? Let me know what you think in the comments. And if this changed how you look at history, subscribe for more stories that rewrite what you thought you knew.